So something interesting happened not too long ago. I have like tons and tons of videos that are like half edited that I never published. You know, they're almost done, but they're not quite done. And one of them's a paranormal video. Since I moved to Texas, it's a funny one. Since I moved to Texas, not too much has happened, and actually, quite a bit's happened now that I think about it. Actually, recently, at my job, it's like all but maybe two guys over the age of 45, myself included, you know, they've come to me, and one by one, they've all said, yeah, I'm seeing shadow shit now in here, you know? I mean, it's like one or two people, sure, whatever, you know, maybe they're a little kooky, but every guy over the age of 45, I think like one supervisor and one new guy, haven't said anything yet, but every other one has come to me and said, holy crap, I'm seeing stuff. You know, and it's just like the one old guy I was talking about in that other video. You know, they come up to me and they're like, I mean, like one guy, he's like, yeah, I'm like looking at something through the edge of my hair and I can see that something's there, but I just keep working. And sure enough, you know, I'm looking at it as I'm working and, oh, damn, there is something there. And I stand up and I look at it and it's looking at me and then it's like, just like goes, you know. Another old guy comes up to me and he's like all kind of like nervous and he's like, I saw something like those things like you're talking about, and it was there. It was like there, actually there in front of me. I'm like, a shadow person? Yeah. And it's great. And I love that. And it's like, I mean, like I said, I mean, one or two people, you know, whatever. But every guy over the age of 45, well, except for two of them. But, you know, that's just weird to me. And, you know, also, the place I am at, it's like, okay, I'm working a pallet of shit. And on this pallet of shit, I've worked it down to maybe 2 feet off the ground, right? I'm almost done. So, I'm like this, walking towards these 2 boxes that I'm looking at on this pallet of shit. And at the same time, there are 4 people coming towards me, walking down the same lane. They're only about 15, 20 feet away from it, as am I. This is what I see. 2 boxes, one on top of the other. Nice and gently placed onto the floor. Slide off, gently placed on the floor. I don't know. And these 4 people walking towards me, they're like, the ones in front, it's like the one in front stops and she's like, you know, looking at me, looking at the boxes. And the other one's like, those didn't fall. And she looks at me and I'm like, I know. And she's like, no, you don't understand. Those didn't fall off that. Those didn't fall. And I'm like, yeah, I saw. She's like, you saw? And it's like the 2 people behind them are like, yeah, I saw that too. And, you know, she's like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, I don't know. It just happens. And they're like, what? This happens normally? I'm like, sometimes. And they're like, this has happened before? I'm like, yeah, at times it does, you know. And they're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, what was it? I'm like, it was what we saw. I mean, here's what I saw. I saw them slide over and then gently place onto the floor. And she's like, yeah, that's what I saw. And the one next to her is like, that's exactly what happened. How did that happen? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, but, this place is like that. It happens from time to time, and increasingly. And they're like, oh my God, is this place haunted? And I'm like, everywhere is haunted. Your own house is haunted. Walking down the street is haunted. Everywhere is haunted. It's just whether anything bothers to do anything. Or has maybe physical structures to link through to do things. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So that's been going on. At work, all the old guys, they know what I'm talking about. They've seen what I've seen now, And that's cool. Okay. Wow, that was 7 minutes of nothing to do with this. In my apartment, I haven't really had much go on. But I have had some things. It was about 2015, 2016-ish. I'd come home from work. My clothes would explode off of me. I'd go to the bathroom, start taking a shit. And then all of a sudden from the kitchen, glass breaking. Damn. Must be those fall allergies. Yeah. Yeah, so, and I'm sitting on the pot, and I'm like, oh my God, all my dishes just fell, and there's broken glass and shit. I better go check that out immediately. As soon as I got done taking this massive shit. So, I finish up, and I go in the kitchen, and I'm like, there's nothing here. Nothing's out of place. Everything's normal. Nothing's wrong. Okay. And, first, anyone hearing this would probably go, well, you live in an apartment. You're just hearing something from an adjacent apartment. No. It's loud. It's only a couple feet away. It's coming from my kitchen. It's loud. And it's unmuffled. It's a loud sound here. And it's like, so a couple days later, come home, and, clothes off, straight to the bathroom, start taking a shit. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. Again? Wow. That sounded pretty violent. I should probably go check that after this. And, every couple days, sometimes weeks apart, but it was happening pretty frequently. At least once a week, I'd say. And, it got to a point, and I'm just sitting there on the pot, and it's like, and I'm like, oh, wow, that sounded violent. Better go check that in a minute. And one day, and I'm just like, to no one. I just go, bullshit! And then, like, a few days after that, and I'm like, okay. And I out loud again, to nobody. I'm just like, look, I don't even have that many dishes to do that. I can't even make that sound with the glass that I own. That's way too many dishes that are breaking in that sound. It makes no sense. And after that, nothing. It was over. I never heard it again. And I'm like, okay, cool. It got the idea. And it makes you wonder, what was the point? What was the point of that? I mean, it was like, what was the point? Is that a ghost? Is that a spirit? Is that a person traveling? Is that somebody I know? Is that somebody dead who's fucking with me? Is it somebody alive who's fucking with me? Is it a trickster spirit fucking with me? I have no fucking idea. So anyway, it's over. It's not happening anymore. And then a long time later, I get this guy. Fortress Maximus. Well, no, Brave Maximus. Mixed with some expensive Grand Maximus. Mixed with some Fortress Maximus, mixed with some Megatron. Point is, this toy is made up of one toy that costs thousands of dollars, specific parts taken off of it, and it's an expensive toy is what I'm trying to get across here. So anyway, I'm walking, I come home from work, clothes off, I go straight to the bathroom, and as I'm walking past this one corner right next to the bathroom, like 3-4 feet away, I had a Parsons table sitting there. And on top of the Parsons table, the only thing on it was this Brave Maximus monstrosity I made. Nocturnal Maximus, whatever you want to call it. And as I walk by it, I go, pat, pat, pat on the head. So I sit down on the pot. I'm taking a shit. I'm beyond prairie dogging. It's coming out. The baby's coming. And I hear in the other room, and I'm like, oh shit, and I know what that sound is. I had one of these guys in the past, and I know what it sounds like. I know what it sounds like when it falls over, And I'm like, oh shit, how the fuck did that fall? Its feet are like this big each. It's going nowhere. I'm like, oh fuck. I jump up, and keep in mind, shit's coming out my ass. I'm thinking, intruder! They want my expensive toy! And it's like, I jump up off the pot, I exit the bathroom door, and we're talking milliseconds here. And as I'm coming up to the corner to look around it, inside, I'm just like, fuck. And I'm like, it's like even as I put my hand on the corner of the wall to look over at the side, I'm just like, damn it. Because I know. And I look and I'm like, yup, yes, of course, it's completely standing. It's not moved an inch. There's no way the fucker could fall. Solid table, level table, only thing on it, his foot imprint is this fucking huge. He's a big boy. He's heavy. He's not falling over. He's not top heavy. You could fucking hit it with a baseball bat. It's still staying there. I'm just like, fuck me. I fell for this shit. So I go, scooting back to the bathroom with shit coming out my ass, smushed between my ass cheeks. And I sit down and I'm like, fucker, you piece of shit. Fuck. And I'm mad for about maybe 5 seconds. Maybe about 5 seconds I'm sitting there actually mad. I'm like, that was pretty damn good. That was good. And I just sit there for a moment to compose myself, and I'm like, you did it. You did it. Very good. You finally fucking got me. You finally got me, and man, did you get me. I'm impressed. Job well done. I congratulate you. That was excellent. That was a job well done. And I'm talking to nobody, but I meant it. I knew something had happened. Something was pulling this shit off. And I'm just like, I'm impressed. You finally got me. I didn't think you would. And after that, that's it. It was over. here it is years later, many years later, and nothing else has taken place. So yeah, I've had this event on the back burner for a while, you know. I even partially recorded me doing what I'm doing here before. It's just, I don't know. Good luck going through all my files trying to find that shit. But it's like, so I'm sitting here on the couch, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I'll make that video. I'll just put it up already. I mean, my God, it's a funny fucking video, you know. It's a funny story, you know. And it's like, and I said out loud to myself, I go, either that, or I'll just procrastinate and do it some other time. And at that moment, my doorknob went fucking bananas. My front doorknob, a couple feet away right here, went absolutely the fuck bananas. It was like just absolutely fucking crazy. And I didn't fuck around. I jumped up. I launched off of this couch. I didn't like sit here and go, I better wait till that stops. It might be someone dangerous. Fuck no. I went skitter. I just went flying off this fucking couch. And by the time I got to the doorknob, it was still rattling. And I went and stuck my eye in the eye hole. No one's there. And understand there's a walkway and stairs and shit. No one can run away this quickly. So I whipped the door open. I'm like, motherfucker. No one's there. Not a fucking soul is there. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened to my doorknob? And then I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I had this funny story about something that long term was trying to make me jump off the toilet with shit coming at my ass. And I was openly speaking that I was going to procrastinate again and not talk about it. And what do you fucking know? The doorknob goes crazy like, oh, no you don't. Oh, no you don't. It's like, I'm sorry. If something's bothering to use up that much energy to do shit, I'll oblige it. So here's this video. I mean, I guess that was the point. Just to be seen and recognized and immortalized? I don't know. It really does make me wonder what did it, though. I mean, why? Why bother? Why bother going through all that? I don't know. It's just funny to me. I mean, think about it. It's like, what is that, a fucking... I mean, that's something living would do, you know? That's what a person would do. I mean, you know, you talk to some people who are like, oh yes, there's trickster spirits out there. And I agree. I think there totally is. I mean, let's put it this way. If I were dead or whatnot, or even if I were able to do what other people can do, you know, they're able to just meditate and travel outside and visit people and stuff, you know, consciously, not accidentally, like I have, you know, fucking with people. It's like the Invisible Man type deal, you know. It's like the Invisible Man thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to go in a woman's locker room. Oh, I'm going to mess people up, you know, make their keys go across the room or some shit. You know, just, you're going to fuck with people. And I guess, why should it be any different for this? You know, if somebody can spiritually travel outwards and make things happen, if something dead is just fucking around, why not? What, you lose your sense of humor when you're outside of your body? Really? I don't think so. Some people are made of humor. Some people just can't stop being fucking funny. Some people can't stop pranking people. You know, some people it's like hardwired. So it's only natural it's going to keep going into the lack of a body, be it just a temporary separation or a permanent one. I don't know. I just thought it was great. But yeah, I congratulated it, and that was it. Never happened again. It just went crazy on my doorknob when I said I was going to not talk about it, though. So yeah, again, I applaud you. You got your video. Whatever you are.
Shut up! Quiet! I said quiet! I hate noise!